Hey, welcome back to the only podcast that sometimes is in person for the first time ever. I'm Travis, and guess what? I'm here in person finally with Jen. Jen,
in real life.
We did it.
Real life.
It finally happened. But why did it happen? It happened because we're here with a very special guest and the host, really hosting us for this podcast episode, Benji Travis, longtime friend. How you doing, buddy?
It's good. I'm doing great. You guys are here. It's been a while since we hung out, and I just met Jen. I'm pumped. And I'm a fan of the podcast, which finally is on YouTube. It's crazy that vidIQ didn't have it on YouTube.
Seriously.
So honored to be here and excited for the conversation.
I think one thing that we were talking about right before we went live is there's something about being in person. And for the viewers of the show, finally they get to see Jen and I here making fun of each other in person, which is great.
They get to see our height difference. That's the real shebang.
We might have to do a screenshot of that later on.
Wait, no, I was told to sit up really tall, so you might not notice it.
But more than that, I think to what you were saying, which I think is really important, is when we're having conversations with people, while you can have the same conversation over video, in person, there's something else that happens. There's like a chemistry that happens. There's just these moments that happen that can't happen over video. And that's why you built this, right? Like, talk a little bit about this studio that we're in right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, this YouTube studio was for my business. My wife and I have been creators since 2008. It's evolved. I started multiple channels, one of them being video influencers. And so I was interviewing people on location. So oftentimes VidCon or other industry events. And then sometimes locally, I would interview people and I would go to their studio or wherever they film. So I decided to create this, and then the pandemic happens, right? So we still use it as a recording studio to record podcasts for other people whenever I do interviews, hence why you're here. But that's why. But yeah, I totally believe in the power of the human connection. And of course, we're talking about in studio, live, in person. But I think it also speaks to what makes YouTube special. See, I was just talking to some other creators earlier about YouTube 2007, 2008. Why was that so significant compared to anything else? Is because you were connecting with other people anywhere in the world. Though it's not in person, you're connecting with somebody you had a similar interest to, passion, hobby, whatever. And so that is, going to be 100x if you're in person with that person, right? But I think beyond us talking right now, who's out there that's going to watch this, that's interested in the same topics? I know we're going to be talking about vlogging, obviously YouTube, and that, to me, is just like what we're doing here in person in my studio. But again, if we're talking about YouTube, you're able to connect with other people that are passionate, in some cases obsessed on the same topic as you. And I think that's one reason you and I became friends too, because we both loved YouTube and helping other creators. I know we have completely different niches in our own personal channels, but if it wasn't for YouTube, we wouldn't have that connection. And so I think that's one of the reasons why in person is really powerful, but just kind of speaks to the power of YouTube.
I love that. Now, you and Jen have something in common. You both vlog. And we definitely want to talk a little bit about that. It was a niche that once upon a time was super big, and then people thought that it was dying. And now there's seemingly like a resurgence of some sort. I'd love to hear you guys talk shop about this, by the way, because I've always kind of wanted to vlog, but I'm just not interesting enough. So I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this and then see what Jen has to say, what she's seen as well.
Yeah, so my wife, she started in 2008 as a beauty creator, and I was just managing the business in the background. I was really just like the token boyfriend in the background, just like would show up once in a while. I didn't think anything of it. And then slowly she started vlogging without it being called vlogging in the beginning, and I was included in that. And so she wanted to do more of that type of content. So she started her actual vlog channel because of me. I was like, hey, this is like throwaway content. I know you want to do this because, you see other creators doing it. Let's start a whole nother channel. You can put whatever you want over there. And so her first channel called It's Judy Time. Her second one called It's Judy's Life. I actually was the one that came up with the name, which is kind of crazy. She's a star of my life, so I don't want to take any of the credit away. Right. But I was the one that said, hey, let's start this second channel, not knowing that 1 or 2 years later, it would become her vlog channel. So we started when vlogging was really birthing into, like YouTube. And obviously everybody started watching vlogs. Like Casey Neistat came into the scene and it became a thing. And yes, in 2015, 16, 17, at the height, it was also starting to die. And we can go into why that happened. Long story short, people literally thought vlogs are dead. But then in 2020, I started noticing vlogs came back. But these were completely opposite, meaning as time went on, one of the reasons why I think vlogging died is because it got so competitive and so produced. You can actually blame Casey for this to a certain degree. And I think this is one of the reasons he got burnt out. It took so much effort, so much production, and crazy ideas. We don't have to talk about which creators are doing this, but the most craziest stuff you can imagine, that's what got all the attention for vlogs. So people that were doing more like laid back stuff. So when you're doing that and you're optimizing for attention and excitement and entertainment, the vlogs were starting to get shorter, right? More produced. Fast forward to 2020 when vlogs were dead, 1 hour vlogs, getting 1 million views. A guy literally working out at the gym, Sam Solik, shopping at the grocery store for protein shakes, no editing at all, 1 million views. Why was that happening? I was like, this is like vlogging 2008 status. Why is this working? And so that's what led me down this rabbit hole of not only watching the vlogs, but starting to vlog in this new method that I saw these kids really doing that wasn't really, there was not a lot of attention on it because YouTube Shorts got all the attention, right? The competitor to TikTok. So of course, me being this, grandpa in the YouTube space, I'm still like vlogging with my wife at this time, even though vlogging was dead, we were still doing that. And not because we were worried about being famous or whatever, like that's just what we did. We did it genuinely because we loved it. It wasn't because it was trendy. It was just something we were doing before it became trendy. So you combine my love and genuine interest in vlogs, plus this new wave of YouTube and this new style of vlogging. And that's what led me to vlogging again and what I've experienced in the success of my personal channel. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing. There's a new way of vlogging that's getting a lot of views and it's easier. And there's, I think, some significant reasons why it's successful. I'm curious what you see, Jen, in terms of your perspective, why you're vlogging right now even.
Yeah, I mean, people got burnt out of overproduced content in general. We're in a new era of YouTube where YouTube is now TV. YouTube themselves said, it's TV now. We're podcasts and we're TV. So it makes sense. I also think that people became very burnt out and overstimulated with short form content. And it's the polar opposite. How do I watch something that's like 60 seconds or less and it leaves me feeling just absolutely insane? I want to watch something that's completely unedited and I can sit back and I can relax and I can clean my house while something's on my TV. It's the new background noise, but also the new relatability. And it's just all stemmed from what I think is a million different reasons. But I would say the highly produced content is so dated, so gone. And it's a hard conversation to have with people who still like that content.
Oh, yeah. And my thought on that is 100% agree with everything you just said. It's crazy because you took the words out of my mouth. Like, literally, we can just stop the podcast here
All right,
because basically
you.
that's what I was going to say. But there's still room for that highly produced stuff because you see those videos still getting views. It's just this other style of content, the vlogging style, it seems like it shouldn't work. And that's why people like are conflicted. They're like, look at Mr. Beast. Not only is he getting 100 million views on YouTube, he's on Amazon Prime. Sure. He's like giving $10 million away. I think that guy won 10 million after taxes, 5 million, but Crazy. It's still a lot of money, right? And so like, why is this like more casual stuff working? And I don't want to assume anything about your age, but you're probably from a different generation than me because everything you said is what all those new vloggers have been telling me. They're like, I don't like that short form, highly choppy, overly produced kind of stuff. I want to do something different. And actually, there's a guy that I want to talk about today. His name is Matt, a cook named Matt. He was one of the biggest food TikTokers and then went to YouTube Shorts. Has done really well. But he's like, I think besides us being genuine friends, he also was like, how do you vlog? What I want to vlog
I think
myself,
that's
right?
A big component right there is that we have a generation who started their social media careers on TikTok. and they don't know how to do YouTube. They literally don't know how to do it. So you get someone who's only known how to make short form content, and then when they go to produce something, they don't have the editing skills. They don't have the punchy effects. Like, they don't even have those skills that was the only thing you did 10 years ago. So now we have just this generation of people who are making content because that's just literally how they know how to make content when it's, I'm making my first YouTube video ever. I have 1 million subscribers or followers on TikTok, but I'm still making my first YouTube video ever. It's a big path for a lot of people.
And what's funny is because you would think vlogging of this new style is like the old way of doing it, but they're doing it a little bit differently. And Austin, who's here in studio with us, he works with me in my coaching program. One of the observations he made was they're almost like rebels of the content creator world, meaning they're doing the opposite, right? In addition to the Mr. Beast style, highly produced stuff, if you talk about TikTok shorts and reels, this new style of vlogging is completely like a middle finger to all of that. Yeah. And what's crazy is, I wrote this book called YouTube Secrets, and even in there, we talk about optimizing your content, right? Like thinking about the person searching and then giving them what they want really quick. Even my wife and I, what happened is my wife, I label her like a Casey Neistat level creator, right? Mm-hmm. Even though she might not like be at his status, like fame wise, she's been doing it a very long time, gotten over 1 billion views by herself. She also optimized too. In fact, her whole style is about how do you take like a normal day and just make it interesting no matter what. And we've been doing it for so long. There's sometimes I feel like I'm getting this deja vu moment where I'm doing the same thing. I'm like documenting the same thing I did 5 years ago. And guess what? I'll go 5 years ago to that exact day and have the same day just with more kids, right? Because I have 5 daughters now.
Just more kids.
So my point is this, she's making all that very interesting, and she went down that path. So then when I saw all these other creators doing something completely opposite, it was almost like a protest to all that. And I believe, and this is always the case, the people that get the most famous, that go the most viral, that people care about, right? Like that start a new wave, usually don't do it because they think it works. They're just such a rebel. They just do it because they can, and they don't want to do what everybody else is doing. This is how fashion is too. Like the people doing the craziest kind of new thing, usually like something in their fashion line becomes what Old Navy is creating, right? Nothing against Old Navy, but they're usually not like, leading the way.
At Old Navy.
Oh my gosh.
They're not leading the way.
Travis, we gotta go.
So we had a sponsorship with Old Navy all the way up until 5 minutes ago, but thanks anyway.
And but what I'm saying is, what's happening on the catwalk for fashion shows isn't necessarily what the masses is loving right now, but is like the trendsetter. Mm-hmm. So in YouTube, the same thing happened. You could say my wife was one of those people in 2011 when we started doing the daily vlogs. There was a very small community. No one really cared about it except her own audience. And I think in that era, the beauty audience. Mm-hmm. This is like, I'm literally going down like memory lane right now. That was the birth of daily vlogging. The birth of this new style of vlogging, same thing. People doing something totally opposite, not because you were going to make a lot of money. In fact, they probably thought, you know what? I might not make money, but I'm going to still do it anyways. And there was something that they felt that, guess what? Millions of other people, I think young people, felt the same way. They're like, something about scrolling through TikTok is making me sick. Something about like the algorithm feeding me all this stuff. Maybe it's not even what I want, but for whatever reason, I click on it, I get more of this junk. Doesn't feel right. Like, I feel like you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
no TikTok this year.
Yeah.
Goodbye, TikTok.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yep.
But then what happens is this. You get this other channel creating these videos where it's like, none of that. I'll tell you my experience. I'm curious what you say. Specifically, Sam Solak, everybody knows him. There was a channel of a couple. I think the wife was pregnant, and they were doing these hour-long vlogs that were getting hundreds of thousands of views, 1 million+ views, and they live off the grid and they're making their life in the forest, doing like very like mundane, normal things. It's like everything from gardening to like building like an outhouse or whatever. And I remember running to my wife, holding the laptop. I was like, honey, somebody put up an hour-long vlog. This is again during, that 2020 shutdown and everything. I was like, they've got an hour-long vlog and it's got like 400,000 views. She's like, oh, cool. And she's like, not interested. But my mind just, I was blown. I was like, what the hell is happening? How is it that they could put an hour-long vlog? It was barely edited. It was just them doing like chores around the house, getting that many views. That was the moment I was like, something is happening here because this is not supposed to work.
Right.
Because a 10-minute highly optimized vlog, kind of competing against the Mr. Beast of the world and those type of videos, that's what you're supposed to do. But why is it? I bet you whatever feeling that I feel like I'm reading in your eyes right now is what the people that watched that vlog were feeling that didn't want that like short form type of content.
Even in like long form content for YouTube, when you have that same punchy effect, just because you're holding your phone horizontal doesn't mean that it's still not that same overstimulating, disconnected feeling. And sure, that's fun. And I think there is a place and there's a niche for that type of content still, because it exists. Do I think that it should be your day-to-day life perceived as that? Should it be, your grocery shopping trip like that? No, I think there's opportunities that people have taken advantage of with taking it down a notch. The off-grid lifestyle, like you're saying, the couple who's out there. Oh my gosh, one of my guilty pleasure channels is Country Life Vlogs.
I knew this was coming.
Country Life Vlogs, where I will watch this woman bake everything from scratch while her husband builds like a shed in the backyard, hours at a time.
Do they show?
There's no sound. It's just ASMR. Nobody speaks. I don't even know what language
Is
they
it one
speak.
camera or multiple cameras?
It's, that's funny that you bring that up, because when I watch it, anytime like my husband walks by, I'm like, how do you think they got that shot? You think they have a film crew there? Like, I think they have a film crew. I don't know the behind the scenes because they're an older couple, and in my world where I'm watching them, I'm like, they don't know how to use cameras. She's just making her bread. Obviously, they're very skillful, talented people.
When you watch those vlogs, what device are you watching on?
Only TV. I don't watch YouTube on my phone.
Same. I have 90% of my stuff's on
By
TV.
the way,
Yeah.
that is the thing that the new style of vlogging is revealing that every creator can learn from. And it's actually the biggest missed opportunity right now. And I would love to dive into it. But the quick version is this. It's the place that has the most demand with the least amount of competition.
Right.
And I've said this from the very beginning. The easiest way to succeed on YouTube is be one of the first. Michelle Phan, they'll actually credit. She is an amazing beauty person. One of the first beauty gurus. She would hate that term. Judy hates it too, but that's what they were, right? They were the beauty.
It's true.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, Judy.
But they started in the beauty blog space and they went into the beauty YouTube space. And she, high level production, whatever. But I would say Michelle Phan became the legendary #1 beauty person because she was the first one to do it the way she did it. And that has been the case throughout all niches, all genres, all formats and platforms. Whoever's there early, right? Like Sam Solik. There's a lot of people trying to be Sam Solik, but he was the first one willing to do it. Now, credit, he actually has like an interesting personality, interesting things to say. He's a huge buff guy. So there's like a value in all of that. But man, when I saw that pushing the grocery cart in the grocery store and no edits, and he's just talking about his favorite protein, that's his #1 viewed video, by the way. That's what's crazy. First on scene. First one to take advantage of all this demand. Where is that demand coming from? That's why I asked you that question. Television. And nobody is talking about it. Even with the CEO saying, oh, television is #1, that's our focus. And even with people having a television viewing kind of experience, nobody is talking as a creator. I'm going to make YouTube videos for TV.
Right.
Why wouldn't you? The reason is people like Benji and Sean wrote in YouTube Secrets, look at your video on your phone, right? Like see how that thumbnail looks.
Right.
vidIQ, everything is optimized for the smaller device, right? From the laptop to the iPad to the phone. It just got smaller and smaller. Nobody could have seen the curveball that television is, and it still will be. And the one big takeaway, if anybody listening to this, if you want to win and you want to be in a space that's not as competitive, and in fact, I believe right now is easier than anything on YouTube, create content for the television. And this is why vlogs win. Because I would tell you this, that I don't know this country family channel that you're talking about. I actually think they could be doing it all by themselves, like how they got that shot. Because I know as a vlogger, guess what? So I use I'll show it to you guys later, the DJ Osmo, whatever, and it has a little stand on it. I talk like such an old person. Like I'm like, I don't know, tripod, right? But I literally will just put it off in the like off like Costco. I'll put it on a shelf, and it gets me. Is like, I don't have a crew, so then the question is like, does somebody say? I wonder if somebody is like holding that or whatever. No, it's just you just run over there and do all of that kind of stuff. The point I'm trying to make is, vlogs are really easy to create the content that's perfect for televisions. The one thing I didn't see when I was watching that person living off grid and then Sam Solik and this new wave of vlogging, I didn't realize one of the reasons why they were getting a lot of views, because they were being watched on a television. When you're watching on a TV, you want longer videos.
Right.
You don't want the 10-minute video because you don't want to pick another thing. We'll get into this later, but I was talking about how like I could be on Netflix looking for 20 minutes for the perfect movie or show, but on YouTube, instantly I'm going to get the perfect recommendation. And if that's a 30-minute video around the thing I'm obsessed with, I'll just let it play.
Yep. Yeah. We talk about this. We talked about this a couple of times where the tolerance for watching content is a lot of times dictated by the device you're on. So for a phone, it might be, and I think this is why TikTok and stuff is so popular, because when you're holding a phone like this, your tolerance is going to sit. You're not going to do this for an hour, right? You might do it for a couple seconds, and then you're talking to someone, and then you're doing it for whatever. So that makes sense. And the television, just from our culture, has always been a sit down on the couch, kind of watch. Back when we had commercials that were a lot more invasive than maybe they even are on YouTube. Because I have premium. I'm not out here trying to watch these.
Me too.
commercials.
Me too.
We don't know what ads look like.
Well,
Not at this table.
I didn't know YouTube even had ads. What are you talking about? I think it definitely kind of rolls into what you're saying is people want to sit down and relax and enjoy that experience. I know I do. And when you say shoot for television, I think for some creators might think, well, what does that mean? And that can mean a lot of different things. I have my own thoughts, but I would love first to hear Jen and then hear Benji, what it means to shoot for television. What does that mean?
Remember that creator that I told you about where I told him, I said, give me 30-minute videos. He had one 30-minute video.
Yes.
I said, stop putting out. He started putting out like his 9 minutes, his 8 minutes. He was bouncing around timestamps a lot. And I said, I only want your content over 30 minutes. Since he changed, every single video, 100 to 500K, no questions asked, consistent views. I'll knock on wood for him.
Let's go.
He's on such a roll. And it's crazy because it's TV. And it's TV. And he had targeted a TV audience, but you have to think about, you're still targeting an audience in general. And TV and mobile don't surface the same. What you're going to see on your phone, even if you're looking at your TV home screen, are completely different videos. And if you're having success on TV, you need to continue to target that TV audience by putting out those longer timestamps. But you still have to make good content at the end of the day. We can't just, let's not put out like a 10-minute black screen at the end of the video and trick YouTube into putting you on TV. It still has to be good, engaging content, but when you have the retention graphs to bump your content longer because you're making shorter content, do it, and you might be surprised. You might be able to unlock a new audience that is just coming from a different place.
Or the same audience that now has the option to watch a longer version of your old video style or whatever. I'm curious, are you allowed to say what type of niche or type of content that creator is? You don't have to say the channel name, but like what kind of content is it? If you had to describe it.
It's I would say action sports.
Action sports, okay.
Channel is
but there's
it's actually more of a commentary, but it's around action sports.
It's got a specific value proposition. now I'm starting to really like date myself. Like that's what we used to say. You have to have a value proposition
still
for your
talk about
channel,
it.
Yeah.
right?
We still talk
Yeah.
about it,
Like you go on Clubhouse in 2020, everyone's like
my
value
God.
proposition.
Clubhouse, remember
100x,
that?
right?
Oh my
I was in a
gosh.
pizza clubhouse.
Because
Oh,
the
wow.
reason I bring that up is you're absolutely right. You still have to have quality content, but I think even more so, you still have to have clarity in your content. See, on the polar opposite side of everything we're saying, vlogging, TV viewing, and longer videos, YouTube's just getting way better. The algorithm's getting way better. What is all the rage in the tech world right now?
I literally could never tell you that
Okay,
answer.
well, you should. What's all the rage? What is like everyone talking about? What's like driving the stock market? What are all the like Mag 7 investing in?
I mean, there's a lot of AI stuff going on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The AI and the algorithm, it's like two like salsa dancing partners finding each other, and they're perfect. The algorithm AI, and they've probably been applying AI forever, but now it's like on steroids.
Right.
It's getting so good that now you can just put out a video. You don't have to have a huge audience. You don't even have to promote it. You know, I know that there's some people that run ads, they drive traffic. You don't have to do anything. The algorithm's so good that if the content has clarity, by the way, this is everything from shorts, you know, we now call them mids, longs, or podcasts. If there's clarity around what it is, the algorithm will find the audience.
Right.
If not right away, eventually. We hear about channels just popping off. A year later, this video like goes viral. It just took a little while for the algorithm to work. The reason I bring all this up is behind every single successful TV YouTube creator, if we're literally gonna birth a new name, by the way.
I was
something.
gonna say I kind of like that. I also
TV
like mids. I've never used mids before.
Yeah, mid is what was long before, but now long is like 30 minutes plus.
I like it.
Right?
We have shorts, long shorts, mids, longs.
Yeah, and then podcasts, right?
Yeah.
3 hours.
And
Okay.
podcasts.
And live streams.
So the reason I bring that up is if you have some kind of clarity in your content and you know you're going for that television viewer, so it's longer, and you combine that with the fact that there's less competition but high demand, it's like old school YouTube again. It's the wild, wild west. Anybody, literally anybody can take advantage of it right now, and you don't have to be the best. You just have to provide the content. This goes into a whole nother rabbit trail discussion, but did you know that YouTube is the #1 streaming platform across all streaming services?
They say like #1 watch time, especially. I believe they were saying that the average watch time on Netflix is like 8 or 9 minutes or something, but YouTube it's like substantially. I can't remember what the
For
number
sure.
was.
Okay. I don't even know the actual numbers.
Yeah.
I've never seen the data. I've just heard from
Yeah.
people that I can rely, like Austin, who's over there. He told me this. But the reason I bring it up is it comes down to one simple thing that YouTube has over all the other platforms. I told you about when I've gone to Netflix and like I'll like endlessly scroll through their options to find something. It's because I'm not finding something that I want.
Right.
But I can go to YouTube and literally max within like 2 minutes, I'm going to find something.
Right.
If I don't find something in 2 minutes, I go up to the top, and what do? We scroll down and then the slot machine thing happens
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Okay. But you're going to find something because YouTube has an endless amount of content.
Yeah.
Just to give you a good example of this, earlier today, so I've been teaching Taekwondo again. I used to be, I am still a 2nd degree black belt. I used to compete at the national, state levels. I loved it, but it took a 10-year break because YouTube,
Right.
my wife and I got married, traveling the world, doing all the stuff we're doing, plus 5
The
kids.
whole 5 kids
Yeah,
part.
yeah. But guess what? It's funny. My 5 kids, guess what? They want to start doing sports. One of them being Taekwondo.
Oh.
So now I'm teaching and coaching not only my kids, but all the kids at the YMCA I used to work at.
Cool.
Reason I bring that up is I'm watching Taekwondo videos on YouTube because I'm like, hey, what are the Olympians doing now?
what's
what
the
are,
latest?
what are the
Yeah.
new things? Also, I didn't have that resource when I was getting my black belt. So it's cool to see these masters, these practitioners, right? So that's all normal. Everyone has like some vice or something they love watching or they're obsessed with, some hobby, right? But just today, as I'm scrolling through, I saw a video that had 100 views on it. And it was some people in Africa, specifically Uganda, right? It's crazy. I know all this information about them. And they were just sparring each other. There was just two Taekwondo students fighting each other, and it was a minute long. So, if I was coaching them, it's like, make that a little bit longer, whatever.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Change the title thumbnail. But everyone's seen this. A random video with barely any views. And then guess what? I did my, little research. I go to their channel. Guess how many subscribers they had?
I don't know.
Not even 250.
Okay.
They've been doing this for 2 years, right? They probably need vidIQ and watching your podcast, by the way.
Maybe.
But I looked at their number one viewed video, also about 250 views. How is it that a channel that is really not getting a lot of views is being recommended to me
right out of nowhere? Yeah.
out of all the other videos? Now, there's two parts to this because we don't have to get into it. YouTube is trying to promote smaller channels.
Yeah.
But there's something else. I still clicked on that video and I watched these two guys fight, right? And I was like learning, how did they do? I was curious, like, I wonder if in Uganda they got the skills like we do here. They did. I was like, oh, damn.
wow.
That guy, he would definitely beat me up, right?
I mean, they got to fight lions and stuff, so maybe they're.
But going back to what I said that YouTube has that no other platform has. Endless amounts of content on specific obsessions, interests, hobbies, everything.
Right.
And even more every single day.
Yep.
See, like Disney, that's one of the big competitors. And somebody today literally said this. Disney has a great archive of amazing movies, right? That goes back 100 years.
Sure do.
But there's still a cap.
Yeah.
Why do you think they had to buy, what is it, Hulu?
Marvel and
or
all
whatever.
that.
Yeah.
all
They
that
want to
stuff, yeah.
add more to their library. Now, it makes sense. It's like, they just want to give more options. Then you got, rink-a-dink, YouTube over here coming in like with all the amateur content and these YouTubers, but it's endless.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there watching this, Taekwondo student from Uganda fighting some other student that happened to be from Kenya, right? They like put the flags of the different people versus watching a Marvel movie on Disney.
Right.
And you can do this across all the niches. And that's kind of my point. Right now, I believe beyond everything we're talking about, YouTube has a moment to literally dominate. It already is dominating. It's going to go through. So what am I trying to say? I believe that, I remember the algorithm. The algorithms will help this channel who's not being optimized at all get that content to me who cares about Taekwondo right now.
Right.
Everybody can take advantage of it, but there are ways to optimize, which by the way, I'll tell you everything I know about how to optimize vlogs for not just TV, but for YouTube in general. But the good news is this, the algorithm's making it easy for both seasoned creators and completely brand new beginners.
Yeah, what's interesting, Jen and I talk about this because we get a lot of emails from listeners that are not only, quote, small creators, they're new creators. Like they haven't even started their channel. We've had, end of last year,
Oh my gosh, so
for
many.
weeks, we had emails from people like, I'm going to start my channel in the next year. I just listen to podcasts to get ready. Like they're getting ready. They're getting prepared, which I think is great to have creators coming to the platform already prepared. They kind of already know things. So the bar gets raised. For those creators, we'd love to hear some of the unlocks that you've come across over the last couple of even months. I mean, forget about the years that you've been doing this forever. You've been doing this forever. But like even over the last couple of months, what are the things that you've noticed?
All right. So we talked about TV. The turnaround is crazy. And of course, that leading to longer videos. By the way, my threshold is 30 minutes too. Like I do have a couple that like don't get to that point. I was like, oh, dang it.
As a seasoned creator though, like you don't push it. It's hard. I think the longer you've been on the platform, the harder it is to push content even longer because you're like, no, I want to edit. I want to edit it just a little bit.
For sure. Absolutely. And my wife, who said she would start editing some of my content and has been editing, she's been pushing it too. So we're now doing vlogs that are 40 minutes. So that's number one.
It's like unediting at this point.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been on the platform long enough, it's like, okay, you need to unedit.
Wow.
Second thing is this. It's like we're going backwards, though, on the best practices of YouTube.
Yes.
Because a lot of these videos, guess what? Title isn't like the best title. And the thumbnail, sometimes, like I've had creators I coach that they get critiqued, like their thumbnail is amateur hour, but they get the views.
Right.
Goes back to the number one thing. If you're watching on your TV, the rules are different on there. Number one, autoplay is happening, right? And we just said it. We're looking for content that's longer, as I call it, the couch viewer. So like the thumbnail and title not being perfect is okay, because if it's 30 minutes about Taekwondo, this thing I'm obsessed about, I'll let it play, right? Like I've seen people that are doing daily vlogging on Taekwondo, their Taekwondo day. Never in a million years did I ever think I'd care about that. But for me right now, because I'm obsessed with it, I'm watching it. So that is different, because you and I come from that old guard of like, hey, the title needs to be optimized because of search, and this is the metadata, and the thumbnail, you got to have your the whites of your eyes showing, and all that kind of stuff.
Whites of your eye. Oh
And
my
then guess
gosh,
what?
that's such an old one.
Right. And you get this new wave of content creators creating this. Like, it's funny because they're like, Benji, what do you think about my title and thumbnail? And I have to like stop myself.
Like, I think it sucks. I'm just kidding.
I never, because I've seen. I was like, doesn't matter what I say.
Yep.
What do you think, right? Even more so, and this has always been the case, even when you're like optimizing, like channel audits or whatever. Is the video good?
Right.
Is the video scratching the itch for the person on the other side? If it's doing that at the highest level possible, and especially if you're targeting the television viewer, and for that viewing behavior and need, then you already like. So the rules have changed there. I'd say the third biggest thing that I'm seeing too. By the way, all this kind of goes back to the TV. When you look at the analytics of the devices, and the CEO definitely said this, but even individual creators, they're surprised. I just talked to Andrew Edwards. Andrew Edwards, right, was at my house. And Austin, who's here, said, hey, like, look at your analytics for this video. Like, what's the number one like device? And he didn't even know. And he like knows this stuff.
Andrew is, I'm friends with Andrew. Andrew a lot. I give him a hard time every time I see him. Love him. That does not surprise me. He doesn't.
Well, no. What's crazy is this: it was television, right?
Yeah.
And so
his stuff looks good. His stuff could be watched on television
for sure.
Absolutely.
Because he's a tech guy, so he's going to have the nicest camera,
Absolutely.
the best quality, and he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
He was even surprised. So a lot of creators are being surprised by that.
Yep.
The biggest takeaway is, you guys I forget who said it. It's a whole new source of traffic. Even from your own audience that used to just watch you on the phone or the laptop. But think about this. Just let's go back even 5 years ago, so long ago, okay, before 2020, like 2019. If you're done watching on your phone or your laptop, right, at night when you're going to watch something, what were the top 3 or 4 sources of entertainment for nighttime viewing, the couch viewer? What were they?
Back when I was growing up?
No, I'm just saying, like
2019.
like before this whole wave of TV being the thing for YouTube. What was it like?
How you were watching YouTube?
How you were watching stuff outside of YouTube?
Oh, outside of YouTube.
Oh.
We were already talking about a lot of the platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I was personally I always watch TV. So I've been a
Yeah.
TV guy for a very long time.
TV,
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon, Disney, all the normal
streaming
players.
stuff, yeah.
What I'm seeing right now is you have the option through the casting function to make your TV an extension of your YouTube. That was the case in 2019, but something happened in the last literally like 2 to 3 years at a high level where now it's like way better. On top of it, more people are just watching YouTube on the TV's YouTube app.
Right.
Both of those things are happening with 2 different generations. So I said a whole nother audience. So what's happening, you know this about any platform. Once you get hooked in and you get addicted, it's almost like habitual, like, like you open up your phone, you go to your text or whatever, email, but then you like might open up the first app that you're obsessed with, right? It doesn't matter what it is, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. You just click on it. It's starting to happen with YouTube.
Yeah.
And YouTube is the only thing on the television that's like what happens on your phone. So people are like you and I growing up in the 90s, right? What do you do when you get home from school? Turn on the TV, watch some cartoons, whatever shows. Same thing with Saturday morning. What I'm saying is now that's changing. Now you're not just turning on the TV, you're literally turning on YouTube, regardless of how you do it. such a mind-blowing thing
Yeah,
if you really think about it, because everyone has a TV. Everyone wasn't watching YouTube on the TV, but now they are. All generations or whatever, because there's different ways to do it. And all the other platforms can't keep up. And the one thing that YouTube has that all of them don't have is an algorithm that follows you from your phone to your thing. Now, you could say this about Amazon to a certain degree, and definitely not about Disney. Netflix, I mean, people watch on the phone, but again, like only for those shows or those movies.
When they're on an airplane.
Yeah, right.
So it's like,
I could say I've never in my life watched Netflix, Hulu, Amazon on my phone ever.
No, I know. That's good.
So-
Unless I was on an airplane.
so that is what I'm seeing. And by the way, what's kind of crazy about what I just said has nothing to do with the YouTube app on your phone or YouTube proper. It's literally all the television. It's this like percentage. It's like this data point in your analytics that people couldn't explain, and now I can explain it. You probably know this like inherently because like you come from that new generation of viewers and creators. But like for the rest of the world that was reading YouTube secrets, watching vidIQ, all those things, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Even though they're watching YouTube videos on the TV.
So what I think, in the tech sphere during 2020, during COVID and stuff, I remember a lot of things that were going on. So in the YouTube space, mobile was growing really fast around that time. And then when everyone was in lockdown, a lot of electronics were sold. I know this because I was doing tech YouTube pretty heavy at that time. And I'm going to tell you, RPMs were great. Everything was great, right? You could get videos on everything because everyone was looking up reviews of everything because you're stuck at home. So everyone was buying TVs. And the thing is, those TVs back in 2020 all had integrated apps. If you had an older TV that maybe you didn't upgrade for like 5 to 7 years, and most people who weren't stuck at home, they were like, my TV's fine. Well, now you're stuck at home, and now you want a better TV, you want a better experience, and that thing's built right in. So all the things you're talking about, casting and all that stuff, really became easier for people to do in 2020, 2021.
And better too.
And better when you kind of had this, I'm going to buy a TV, it's on sale. Let me go grab it. Oh, I can now watch YouTube. I never tried this before. Oh my gosh, it's actually a better experience. So I think that situation kind of has bled into what we're seeing now. The uptick in views has taken a little bit longer, but man, it is so easy. Everything you go to the TV. And now you can see Jen on TV. On this very episode. Can you believe that?
Right here. You want to know what happened? I think Netflix pissed everybody off. And they were like, you can't share your password. And everyone said, fine,
that's
I'm going to go
right.
to YouTube.
You're not wrong.
What
That's
if I
actually interesting.
played like a part in it, though? Because I didn't buy Netflix after that.
A lot of people I know canceled it based off
And now
that,
Netflix has ads again,
which is
or for the first time.
Yeah, by the way,
I don't
there's a
even
lot
know.
of variables that are leading to what we're discussing today. But remember that was like cable cutting?
Yeah.
Somebody today made fun of me for still having cable, right? But cable cutting, now about streaming service cutting, right?
yeah.
No one's ever going to cut off YouTube because
You don't
why?
have to. It's free,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. Like, they've struck the balance of ads to content because that's their business.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
they know exactly how to do it. Another thing that's, by the way, this is a whole nother note. I would love to talk about what you need to do if you're going to take advantage of this new style of vlogging. But another thing that happened to me in 2024 when I started vlogging, right, on my channel, ads went crazy.
Yeah. I bet.
I just recently, I'm like Andrew, like I don't care so much about my analytics. I look at every little thing. I'm like, I want to just create content that people want to view, right? I just recently went into my AdSense for my 30-minute vlogs. I'm seeing 7 ads sometimes.
Crazy.
I don't want
Crazy.
that. In fact, I always just set the auto thing, assuming it'd be like beginning, middle, and maybe 2 if it was longer.
Right.
7 ads.
Yeah.
And my average view duration, can you guess what my average view duration is on my 30-minute videos?
30-minute video. I would say 12:30.
Really close. It's usually like closer to 15 minutes. But this was crazy. That means there's some people watching 30 minutes.
Right, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some people sitting through my Costco vlogs where I'm just picking the same ingredients. Once in a while, I'll show something different. And I am talking. I'm talking about what it is I'm shopping for. And they're watching potentially 5 or 6 ads. That's something wild too, because could you remember when ads were turned on in YouTube? Like, done. We're not watching this anymore. But it was good enough. We're like, maybe. And then we're like signing up for premium way before that was even a thing.
Right.
So I think that that's another thing that YouTube has always been great at, paying the creators. Still, there's no AdSense equivalent anywhere else. And this is why vlogging is kind of crazy, because it's the easiest way to do a 30+ minute video and take advantage of everything good of YouTube, both on the algorithm, the search and ranking, as well as the AdSense and passive income. And that's why none of the other platforms. This is why Amazon had to pay Mr. Beast whatever,
Right.
$100 million to do that show, because they don't have anything that comes close. Though that show was a big one for Amazon, guess what? It's just one show.
Right.
YouTube has infinite amounts of
And it
creators
has
and
Mr.
shows.
Beast as
Oh,
well.
they got
And it has
100
Mr. Beast.
100,000 Mr. Beast already.
I know, right? We got
They
all
don't even
those.
need the real one anymore. There's enough people who are trying to be
We
Mr.
don't even
Beast.
need the real one.
It's all right.
Oh gosh, yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about vlogging. We do have some vlogging listeners. We've heard from some of them, or people that do things that are like vlogs.
Yeah.
Jen and I have talked a lot of the emails we get about that, and that the value prop for that is more about entertainment. So when you're about to shoot a vlog, or when you're even editing a vlog, how do you find the entertaining notes of that? Like, because like you said, you might be in Costco, and that sounds kind of, it's like, all right, you're in Costco, so what? How do you make that interesting?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the first off, I want to almost redefine vlogging, right? This vlogging style that my wife and other vloggers, including Casey Neistat, created, that's not what I'm talking about. Let's actually go way back in time to 2005. With the early days, video blog, that is the original vlog, okay?
Right.
So if anybody knows about blogs is on everything, and it's in different styles. And the first YouTube videos were just videos versions. And it's funny that you said entertainment, right? Like for vlogs. Actually, I think vlogs can be everything, just like blogs were about everything. Sometimes entertainment, sometimes recipes, sometimes about information. So redefining what a vlog is. It's a video blog, and it can include everything from like a talking head video to me shopping at Costco to something a little bit more produced, like the secret camera of the country family or whatever, okay? But what do you want to do to make a 30-minute interesting when it had to be 10 minutes back in the day, or even shorter? I call it the 3 T's of the new vlogging method. First off, you have to have a theme for your channel, right? You have to have something that your channel is about. It's more broader than a niche, because the problem with a niche is you sometimes run out of ideas. And then when you just become too niche, somebody can out-compete you, right? A theme just gives you a general direction. So for me, it's like my obsession and passion for food and sharing it with other food lovers. Now you go one level down to the second T, right? First T being theme, second T being a topic or takeaway. You want to have a vlog. See, this is one of the big distinctions. The new way of vlogging has a topic or takeaway for every vlog. There's something about it. So Sam Solik is the greatest example. You think he was just walking through the grocery store being this big buff guy buying food. No, the topic was proteins. How do you find the best proteins at the grocery store that'll make you big? And so you always have a topic or takeaway. And then the last one is telling stories. A little play on words, but the third T is telling stories. You've got to just talk. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's funny. We just blasted through 50 minutes telling all kinds of stories around this kind of thing, unscripted. Right? Like, did you come here and like, I'm going to say this and this story, whatever. There's banter between you two that I know was completely random or whatever.
Everything about
And
us
we're
is
even
random.
trying to be nice in person.
I know,
Like,
right? I'm not even.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, wait until almost the end. I got something for you. I got a little surprise I haven't told you about, but go ahead.
Okay, so
Me? Who?
You.
Oh.
all right, so we can all tell stories and we don't know it. That's another thing too. People like have overcomplicated telling stories.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so with you on this.
Yes.
I am so with you on
Yes.
this. And the first time I ever tried to tell a story, when you think of what storytelling is, or when, oh my gosh, when YouTube was like exploding with like, you have to be a master storyteller and there has to be stakes and you have to, oh my gosh, hilarious. I mean, this is back to like the Casey Neistat era.
Exactly. And that's what crazy. Casey tells the greatest stories, but the way he tells it, it takes a lot of work.
Right.
How often on the weekend you're hanging out with your buddies, right? Or your family, and you literally just say, you won't believe what happened to me this week. Did you practice that? Did you like prep
Still
that?
need to hear that story, by the way. Yeah.
So telling stories is something everybody can do. The problem is they're uncomfortable on camera.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a whole nother discussion. But if you just tell a story that's related to that topic or takeaway and is under your theme, you got a vlog. You got the new vlog that will work. Remember what I said about the algorithm? You know what? It's funny because right now on YouTube, there's this whole Costco niche, okay? Who's the most famous right now?
Yep.
There's
We
two.
were talking about that, actually. Yeah.
There's two that I think about.
The
Double
deal
chocolate
guy.
chunk cookie or whatever, guys. Okay, it's a dad and a son, okay? Heartwarming. They love to go there, but it's short form or whatever. That's their style, whatever, and that goes viral. Then you got the other style, which is these are the top 10 things you need to buy at Costco today, right? Or these are the top 10 healthiest things. So those are the two things that kind of dominate in the world. I'm neither one of those. I have a 30-minute vlog. I stand apart doing the thing that's way easy. The one thing I talked about last year that is so funny because no one ever flexes this, but it's a great way. And I didn't know about the TV yet, right? You want to be second best with vlogs, meaning after you watch a double chocolate crunch dad and son guy or the Bobby guy that does the top 10 things you buy, what happens? You get a suggestion on another video.
Yep.
Or if you're on the TV, they're like, oh, that guy liked Costco, so let's show him one that's formatted for the couch viewer for TV. I'm that guy.
Right.
I can promise you that double chocolate crunch cookie dad and son guy. I don't know. You're going to have to fix me, Nuchely. Okay, Nuchely's over here laughing at me. I can promise you they're not getting 50% audience view duration on their stuff.
Right.
I've seen stats that say like shorts and TikToks can get like 5 to 25 seconds if you're lucky.
Wow.
How is it me? I'm definitely not nearly as entertaining as them. Way boring, right? I'm supposed to be behind the scenes. I'm the token boyfriend turned token husband, token dad. And now I have this channel where I can shop for 30 minutes doing like really mundane stuff. It's me telling stories. It's a longer video and it's still following the 3 T's. Food lover, but topic or takeaway is usually Costco, and there's usually like another topic on top of it. And I just tell stories about this ingredient and why I buy it, right? My own perspective, my own opinion. I can do it all day long. It's just crazy. My wife just shopped at Costco. I'm kind of angry because that means I don't get to go to Costco. Right?
Like, what are you doing? That's content.
Because it's easy. It's like literally so easy. By the way, to be fair though, what I said about first on scene, there is somebody else. I coach people on it that will do it way better than me, but I'm early on. The point I'm trying to make is that is how you create a vlog for not only just YouTube proper, but especially the TV viewer. Follow those 3 T's and do it over and over. Remember what I said about what's the number one reason why people can't tell a story? It's because they're uncomfortable on camera. The easiest way to get through that is practice. Do it a lot.
Yeah.
Guess what? Vlogs are such low effort compared to nice camera, 3 hours of editing, all these crazy ideas and all those kind of things that you can just bang them out. You know, like the first phase of my coaching is like, do as many vlogs as you can. Low stakes. Don't overdo it. Use your phone if you want. Don't like, in fact, and guess what? All those vloggers that you probably know of or like kind of saw over the last few years, that's exactly how they did it. And then they get comfortable and then they become natural on camera. And then one day everything lines up, 100,000 views,
Right.
1 million views.
Right.
So I'm not one of those creator coaches or YouTube extras say, yeah, you can just follow every little thing I do. And in the next 30 days, you're going to go viral, right? That's complete BS.
Right.
Because you and I
Absolutely.
both know, we all know it takes a lot of work and effort and experience to get to that point. See, one thing that people don't know is my wife, for example, she's never really told this story. She made videos with her sister and cousins growing up. So being on camera wasn't that big of a deal, even though she was a little uncomfortable, right? And she had a whole year of videos that she didn't like, where she like removed a lot of those videos. That was her era of practicing. Same thing with me, right? Like I had to, I mean, you could say it took me 15 years to get to this point. I mean, I've done legit vlogging and other channels, whatever. I'm just saying it doesn't happen overnight. But this framework, the 3 T's, right? Having a theme for your channel, having a topic or takeaway for your vlog that you're, focus on, and you're telling stories. You do that enough times, guess what? You could become a legit creator in 3 to 6 months, and then you're off to races. Versus the old way of doing it, optimize, research every little thing, which I'm a fan of both, but gets so overwhelming, they just quit. Their first video is cringy, and it took them like 10 days to create, and they're like, I can't do this. Like, this is not sustainable. The way I vlog, it is done literally in a matter of hours. From the time I come up with the idea or research the topic or takeaway to me filming to the time it gets edited and uploaded can literally be, in some cases, a 3 to 4 hour process. Very minimal investment. Anybody can do that. And so that's what I would suggest if you're trying to get into vlogging and you need like some kind of roadmap to get started. And this works funny enough for seasoned creators who are part of that over optimized stuff. And I have my friend Matt who's doing that. Can I tell one more quick story?
Yeah.
So I have a creator friend, really successful TikToker, and went to YouTube Shorts, did really well as a cook, right? Worked in a restaurant for 10 years. Legit knife skills. I think that was one of the things that went viral. And he has kind of like edgy cooking content. You can just look at his channel. But he really wanted to vlog because he felt the same thing that a lot of people are feeling, like, I want to do something different. And I see these other creators doing it too. Same like Sam Solek. And he was trying to do vlogs, and actually they were doing well on his channel, but not good enough. And he went through some things and he just kind of stopped. And then ultimately he made a decision based off of other people in his life, not me, saying, hey, you should maybe stop vlogging and do this more highly produced stuff, right? So he's trying to do it. What he didn't tell them or me, I mentor him on his vlogging and stuff and like just talk about like how to do vlogs. Uploaded his vlogs on a secret channel. He didn't tell anybody about it.
I love that.
So he has like 3 million followers on his main channel or something like that, or maybe less than 1.5. It doesn't matter because his second channel was a channel he started a long time ago. Does have 17,000 subscribers, right? But again, subscribers don't really matter these days, right? Because his million subscriber channel wasn't getting him 1 million views. Okay, we all know this.
Even with shorts now, like metrics are just
for sure
vanity.
But the point is this: he was getting, in some cases, 4 to 8 times as many views on his vlogs in this new method of vlogging on his secret channel than his main channel. And this is a big takeaway. This kind of goes full circle back to what I talked about, the TV, the algorithm, AI, and how YouTube's easier than ever. He never once promoted his vlogs. I
love that.
Not on his TikTok, not on his Instagram stories. He didn't even share it on his community tab, which anybody from vidIQ knows. Like, the community tab is underrated. You should share everything on there, right? He didn't even do that. Because the algorithm is so good that not only did it find that audience that's subscribed to his main channel that wants it, but the other people that wanted that specific content that didn't know anything about him. He's having people approach him in Seattle because a lot of his vlogs are around Seattle that don't know he's this epic short form creator. They're like, dude, love what you're doing for Seattle. Keep up the work. Like talking to him like, you're doing a good job, buddy, right? Like, not knowing like this is what he does for a living.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating because it's proving, one, it's not about the subscribers. You don't have to promote. You don't have to do anything crazy. And by the way, I'm not saying that they're necessarily bad, but they're not optimized, his title and thumbnail, not the way he would normally do it on his other channel or best practices at experts, and still getting more views. His first vlog got 40,000 views, just like that, right?
Hey, I love that.
And it was a long video, longer than what he normally, because he's doing short form. I tell that story because this is a case across the board, no matter where you're at in the creator journey. And it's something to pay attention to. And I do believe this new wave of YouTube and people wanting this like more dressed down content, 2, TV viewers, and then 3, high demand with low supply. It's an opportunity. It's the biggest opportunity. I used to say shorts were the biggest opportunity. No, because actually shorts screwed up a lot of
It
YouTube,
really
I
did.
think.
Yeah, yeah.
Not necessarily fully in a bad way, but both good and bad.
Right, yeah.
What's happening with TV though is it's like a gold mine.
Yep. I agree. So on this podcast, we do talk about our YouTube, but also we talk about other things. And that's why I think when people email us, they'll send us little stories about things and little inside jokes we have. And one of the things that we talk about here, and I'm just going to ask for your unbiased opinion on this, because there is a mini war in our podcast audience. They're on one side of the fence or they're on the other side of the fence. So we need to figure out what side of the fence you're on.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, this is a very serious question, because we are basically an undercover candy podcast as well.
Undercover candy podcast?
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll talk
Okay.
about candy. So this is the thing. There are two candies and two teams, basically, that this entire audience listens to. And I'm not going to bias you in any way, but there is only one answer that's good and
Okay.
right.
Okay.
There are seasonal candies, one that Jen loves and one that I love. And we don't like the other person's candy at all, which is why we've kind of separated in this way.
I hope I get this right.
I hope you do too. I'm going to tell you what they both are. So, the first one, and I'm not trying not to bias you by saying anything. I'm going to say them both equally the way that I should say them so that you just make up your own mind. First one is candy corn, which usually comes out during the Halloween season. And the other one is Cadbury cream eggs, which happens around this time, Easter time. Very controversial. Some people like one, some people like the other. Very few people like both. I'm here to ask
Candy
you.
corn.
Maybe he's.
It's funny. Okay.
Sorry, Austin.
Want to hear a funny story about
That's terrible.
candy? My wife and I, we were talking about this.
About how much you love candy corn?
Random
Just in your own
conversation.
home?
I
Okay.
know. I
Loving
can already
candy
see the
corn?
anger. I
I'm
can
ready
already
to
see
leave.
the anger.
Loving
I'm
it?
ready to leave.
Okay.
Wow.
Let me
We'll
explain.
miss you
though.
at dinner, Travis.
But let me explain though. This is what's so funny.
All right.
I was telling her, and like we've been married now for a very long time. We've been friends since like literally the late 90s. Okay. So we know everything about each other. So when there's something new that we find out, it's always like a big deal.
Yeah.
And recently I said, I really don't like Hershey's chocolate.
Interesting.
And it blew
Wow.
her mind,
Wow.
right? Because she made like homemade chocolate. She melted down a whole bunch of chocolate, but there was Hershey's in there. I was like, I like it when you use the like other just regular milk chocolate. I grew up in Japan, so Japanese chocolates are my jam, and Hershey's is like total opposite. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So went down this rabbit trail of like the other candies I don't like. You guys probably not gonna like this. The other one that I don't like too, I'm curious what Nuclear thinks. I don't like Tootsie Pops.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so going to candy corn. She said, okay, then where would you put all these kind of different things, right? Like,
They
and
have
she
a
was asking me
whiteboard
different.
out. They literally have
Figure it out,
brackets
yeah.
going down in the living room.
And then so she talked about candy corn and immediately like, oh, candy corn is better than all those ones, right?
Oof.
But it's not really high up for me. But if I had to pick between the two,
Okay.
definitely candy corn. But I made a point to say
fair.
like, I still will enjoy candy corn. To me, what's crazy about candy corn,
Is how
it's
delicious
just
it
like,
is.
it's just like
Terrible.
solid.
Just get an
it's a
audible-
candle. It's an unburned candle. Am
It's
I
like,
wrong?
yeah, no, it's like solidified frosting that's been like, you know, like wood gets petrified or
It
Yeah.
does. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what candy corn is to me. But you know, you have to hand it like candy corn. Isn't that an old candy?
It is.
I don't even know.
You would never know if it goes
By the
bad.
way, don't even get me started about Cadbury cream eggs or anything like that.
Okay, hold on. Hold on for a second. First of all,
Sorry.
I actually did another podcast episode earlier this day. For people listening to this, you probably have already seen that episode. Jen doesn't know that I actually asked Trisha this same
no.
question.
Trisha.
And she also picked candy corn for some ungodly known reason.
Trisha.
So I'm feeling some kind of way right now, but guess what? You can never get over on Travis.
So
Travis gets
far.
over on you. For those of you who don't know, or maybe you're watching this later on, this is being recorded in March, which is not when candy corn is kind of popular and available. However, you know what is available? Guess what I got?
Did you bring candies?
Today, Jen is finally going to have a Cadbury cream egg for causing all this mess. So we're going to watch this live.
Oh, disgusting.
I can't wait.
Have you had one of these before? Or is it just that idea of it?
It's literally.
It's the texture and stuff, right?
Disgusting.
All right, I'm going to need a picture of this. So first of all, let me get my phone. I need you to take. I'm going to take a picture of you this, so I'm going to show
Here,
this on the
I'll-
community tab, so people can go. It's happening because that's what's going to happen. Our community's going to love this. It's happening. I need everyone to go ahead and just if you're listening on the audio podcast, you now need to go over to the YouTube channel because this is happening right now. You have to watch this.
Ew, it's literally all things I hate and don't eat. Milk chocolate, gross. Whatever is gonna be inside, gross.
I need you to get to the filling.
There's a surprise in here too.
No, just that I'm doing this. Yeah, and
No,
you
but,
have to
like,
make sure you get the goo.
inside.
The goo is inside. You need to get to the goo.
The fact that you just called it goo,
Goo.
doesn't that
I'm
tell
not
you
gonna
everything
lie.
you need to
I'm
know?
not gonna lie. Go ahead.
God,
Bite it
this
in, make
is
sure you get the
worse
goo.
than when I had the like vomit jelly beans.
Oh, yeah, the vomit jelly
I will.
beans.
If anyone has vomit jelly beans, they'd like to
She'd
swap
rather
this
have
out
that.
for. I'll take it. I'll
right.
absolutely take it.
I want you to just
Disgusting.
really enjoy the moment because I am. Crunch it. There's the goo. Get it. You eat that, young lady. You clean your plate. How are you doing?
That's literally the most disgusting thing I've
What are
ever
you talking
tasted.
about?
Is that an orange cream?
Why
Why
is
is it
it
No,
orange?
because it's one of the flavors of the. It's supposed to be like the yolk of an egg, except for it's
Oh.
not. It tastes good.
This
though.
is how
Can
much
I
I
see
love
this
you,
package?
Travis.
Can I
I
see
don't.
this?
Yeah. You
Eat
can have one.
dairy.
There's one in there. I'm gonna eat one right now. I love
Milk
Cadbury's.
chocolate eggs with soft fondant center.
Fondant. Fondant's good.
That's disgusting.
No, what are you talking about?
That's literally
Oh
disgusting.
my god, this is the best thing
That's
ever.
literally how much I love you. I don't eat dairy, and
I
love
know.
you this
She's a
much.
vegan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is like she's never gonna let me live this down because I'm angry.
The plant queens in the comments are gonna be irate.
Bro, they are gonna come for me because people don't like that. Okay, look. Anyway,
No. You eat what you want whenever you want.
this is true. And Benji's trying that too. Let's go. Let's get it. I love that. I'm gonna get mine in too. Hold on.
Does anyone have
You know
any?
what, though?
Wait, did it surprise you?
Cadbury milk chocolate is very good.
I've heard that people love the little eggs.
I might,
Like the
Yeah, they're
little.
okay.
I might
okay,
change my
Travis.
mind. I might change my mind.
See?
no.
I'm saying a convert.
No. Benji's like, you
A
got another
convert.
one?
Let's go.
I'm not gonna finish this right now, but I might.
Yeah, he's not. He's thinking about it for later.
I'm telling you, good stuff. Anyway,
Gross.
Benji, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about where people can find you if they're interested. I know you've written a book and like, where are all things? Tell us all
Yeah.
things.
So, what's my URL, Austin? I forgot. vloggingacademy.com/checklist for anybody that wants to go through the full 3 T's and everything you need to know to literally upload your first vlog. Go there. That
Love
is
it.
the best place. The second place I would say is like Benji Man TV on Instagram. I have a Creator Secrets broadcast channel where I'll talk about this stuff. And the checklist is really the best place. But the last thing I would say is I've been doing this a long time. It's 17 years. I wrote a book on it. I'm throwing a YouTube event next week. By the
Right.
way, you're
I'm
welcome
gonna
to
be there,
come
yeah.
if you. I know it's kind of a drive for you.
Appreciate it.
There's one in Portland too, right? Though.
There is one next
So she-
week. Anyways, I love YouTube.
Yeah.
When I started saying I love YouTube, it was strange. Okay, that was like 2011, 2012. Now it's not strange.
Right.
It's a part of the media. It's part of the world. And if you're not on there, you like to a certain degree, you don't exist as long. I mean, that sounds harsh, but it's the new TV.
Yeah, it is.
No pun intended, based off what we just said. Right now, we have a moment for new creators, new channels to take advantage of this thing in a way that you didn't because everybody wanted to become a YouTuber at one point, right? And I believe that, by the way, shorts still great. Like we were kind of like shitting on all those like you know like
I shit on shorts every day.
well,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's
but
all
like,
fine, yeah.
I mean, like
Literally
highly,
known to
I meant
hate
highly produced content, right? We were just talking about how like it's really hard. There's still a place for it.
Absolutely.
In fact, guess what?
of course.
Vlogging is just one of the things of the greater YouTube space. It's taken advantage of all the current benefits that no one's really kind of paying attention to or talking about. And it's also a really easy way to get started. And what happened was vlogging wasn't easy because you had to do drone shots and all that kind of crazy
Oh my
stuff.
gosh, so much.
Now you don't have to do nothing. You
Right.
can literally like put your camera on a log while you're like making pie or whatever you said,
Yeah.
right? Outside. People are
Literally
literally like
insane.
making food outside and like becoming these creators. So don't sleep on YouTube. Consider vlogging. And regardless if you get my checklist or not, you're probably noticing this is happening. So don't be the person that 5 years from now says, I wish I did it. Be the person that says, I'm glad I started.
Yeah.
And that can be as simple as like a 10-minute video of you talking about something you're obsessed with, because you never know when something's going to go viral. And I don't say that lightly, because content is going viral that I thought shouldn't be going viral. And so, yeah, thanks for having me on your guys' podcast. And huge fan of both of you guys and vidIQ. So awesome. I'll definitely be tuning into future episodes. So subscribe, even though you don't need to, because YouTube already knows what you want to watch.
That's true. It's so true.
And yeah, that's what I say.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And links will be in the show notes if you're listening to audio podcast, and in the description if you're watching here on YouTube. And Jen and I will try to do this in person again sometime soon, hopefully.
Yeah. I also just want to say that I took a bigger bite than you did.
Well, because I'm going to eat the whole thing.
No, I literally took a bigger bite than you. I've been thinking about this the whole time.
I'm going to eat the whole thing. But I'm not going to. I don't care.
I could only take one bite, by the way. That's that's enough for me.
I'm going to eat it.
But if I had candy corn right now, I would eat more.
Oh, I can't do
But
that.
I couldn't have. I had to take candy corn off my desk because I would unknowingly like reach for it and be eating it, and then I'm just like chewing the whole time.
This is why I say it's solidified frosting, because guess what? I'm the guy that even when all the cake is on, if there's more frosting on the thing, I'm like,
Okay, wait. So as a food channel and stuff. Oh, do we need to end?
No, you finish this and then we'll end.
Wait, I'm like, what is your? Well, there's two. Okay, what is like the food you're most embarrassed to say that like you absolutely love?
Oh,
that's a good one.
Spam. Well, actually, I mean, I share so much, so I'm not really that embarrassed, honestly.
But like, if you told someone, they'd be like, "Huh? What? What did you say?"
Oh, well, it's funny. No, it was candy corn. I'm not kidding you.
No,
I
I
just
believe
told
it.
you
Candy corn
that
is
story.
embarrassing.
I told my wife candy corn. She's like, "How could you? You don't like Hershey's and Tootsie Pops, but candy corn?" That's why I think is what I forget if you said Cadbury eggs or candy corn first.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
one
I
did you
forget.
say?
I think I said.
I think you
candy
led
corn
with
first.
candy corn. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was like, this is
This is weird. Hold on.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like what at the time.
that's what
Anyway,
we
so
kinda do.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you guys and gals in the next one.